you the Keymaster? Welcome back to another episode of Desk Talks. I am Chase. I'm joined here this week with Rob. We are coming at you the week.
It is a week.
It is a week.
Keep going.
Words
sounded
mean
great.
things.
You were on a roll.
I was. We're coming at you January the 9th. It feels so good to be back. Welcome into the new year. If I can start it off right, we'll be okay.
I think you started great. It's carrying that momentum that you started with.
All the way through. Just a little stumble. That's okay. Just a little stumble. I'm recovering. Hey, it's okay. Everybody relax.
We're minimally professional around here. So the fact that you got 75% of it out and it sounded great, you're doing better than most of us.
Oh, that doesn't meet my mark. Okay. It's 99.9% or fail. I'm just joking. Okay. That's a personal goal. All right.
I appreciate your high standards for yourself.
For yourself. I enjoy the way you're wording things today. This is going to be a great episode. Welcome back.
I'm 2 cups of coffee in today. Ooh. I'm feeling good.
He took his brain juice this morning. Yeah. He's ready to go. Took all of his vitamins and nutrients.
Before I took the kids to school. I'm crushing it.
You're crushing it today. You're winning. You're winning at life.
You're winning at life. I love that.
All right. Those are some good clips. All right. Here we go. Bookmark it. Here we go. I'm starting over. Mark clip.
Why? I thought it was great. Just keep it going. I won't even edit this part out.
You don't even edit this part out?
No.
Not even a mark clip? All right.
No edit podcast. Here we go. We're starting the new year off, right?
Start it off. Right. No edit
podcast.
Well, let's dive right into it. As promised, that we're going to entertain you a little bit. We're going to educate you a little bit, and hopefully get your a little bit less.
We're going to entertain you a little bit and educate you a little bit less.
So let's kick it off. With that being said, let's kick it off with some current news cycle. As of 2025, Rob and I found out that we got a COLA increase. So those who are getting benefits from the VA, we have a 2.5% increase in our COLA to match what they are paying out in Social Security. That comes from the VA's website. It is also there on militarytimes.com. If you would like to go read about that and go look that up just a little bit more, it's actually plastered all over the VA's news cycle because they're proud of it, and they should be.
They should be.
That's going to help alleviate. It's not going to keep up with the good old inflation of those eggs. But hey, every penny helps. You're talking to it from over here. I'm telling you, I love every penny we get in. So
you're not wrong. And it's a step in the right direction. It is. But, it's never enough. Nothing's ever enough, right? Because the more you get, the more you spend. And
you're right. It's a perspective thing, right?
It is. 2.5% is a step in the right direction. It's a step in the right direction. But I don't think, much like reframing my mindset around my retirement, I am not 100% disabled. And so my retirement is not meant to sustain me. It is meant to supplement my income, very similar to MHA payments that you may receive with your GI Bill. That's just my train of thought, though.
I like to look at it as it's compensation for the damages done, right? And for the aches and pains of whenever I get up, I have a little bit more aches and pains than maybe the next guy.
They don't pay me enough then.
They don't pay me enough for that mindset.
They don't pay me enough for that. Nope. They pay me enough just to kind of keep me on like the side of satisfied. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Which side is that now? I don't even want to know which side it is. I will make that up. I'll make that up in my own mind. It's a little bit more fun that way.
Or not as much. Just, again, it's all about perspective.
That's all about perspective. Yeah, that's crazy. 2.5, we haven't seen a good COLA increase like that in a couple of years. So it's actually really nice to be able to see that, your retirement, those who are on a fixed income based off of their retirement, those who cannot, that or like Rob said, that are 100% permanently and totally disabled, that are not able to go out and have additional means of income. It's good to know that they're being taken care of. because that is a smaller portion of our brothers and sisters, thank God, than the majority. You know, it's a very small population, so we're very happy for those who are 100%. That you did get this COLA increase in that perspective. I know that medication isn't transportation. Everything's a lot more expensive these days.
It is. It is, but you're right. I mean, the 2.5%, it doesn't, it, at least it allows you to keep pace with the inflation that we're seeing across the country.
No.
I don't know if it necessarily puts you ahead of your peers, but it allows you to maintain.
No. Well, and that's what and if we're being honest, that's what it's there for.
You're right. You're right. But with that COLA increase, there was another pretty substantial increase. And you can quote me. I think this is one of the larger changes to the GI Bill for all my brothers and sisters out there utilizing their GI Bill. Chapter 33 and the GI Bill in total saw a 6.7% increase in that total annual allotment. Last year it was I think it was $26,751 last year for your total annual cap on your GI Bill. This year it has been increased to $28,937.09, which is very important. Don't forget your 9 cents.
Not to be exact or anything.
Yeah, not to be
Just
exact or
ballparking
sound like a
that.
nerd. Yeah. But you can find that the best tool for your GI Bill is still and will always be the VA's website, GI Bill Comparison Tools, which you can plug into Google. And then you can select the chapter of GI Bill that you are eligible for. If you separated service after 2011, more than likely you're a Chapter 33 recipient, and so you should focus on that. Understand that annual cap only applies to private institutions or non-college degree programs or vocational training. If you're going to a in-state institution, you don't have to worry about annual cap. VA is going to cover you on that front. So move carefully, my friends.
Yeah, so just make sure that you're looking into that, especially as you're getting, we are an education-based channel, so make sure that as you are looking into expanding your repertoire, putting more tools in that tool bag, which we always encourage to be a lifelong learner, never give that up. If you're looking to use those GI Bill dollars, make sure that you're looking at those state entities and making sure that you're maximizing your benefit for what you are looking to do.
Yes, and if you have any questions, you can always reach out to us, drop a comment below in the comment section if you're on YouTube, which I think is our large majority of our audience here. Drop it into the comment section on YouTube, and we'll certainly get back to you. Or you can send us an email at info@dynamiceducationalsolutions.org. That email is in the description below. You can click on that, shoot us a note. We're happy to answer any questions that you may have. Before you go and reach out to, I don't want to be negative. Our response time will be a little bit better, maybe than VA or an institution that you're trying to go to. However, that said, I'm a big proponent of trust but verify. So if you ask us a question and you get the answer, please fact check us. And if we're wrong, let us know. Always open to healthy criticism.
Well, nobody likes being wrong, right? So if you are incorrect, I like to know first and foremost and quickly. What did I had an old mentor that used to tell me it's good to fail, but fail fast. So if we're wrong, we want to know quickly. To get off of that kind of mentality, I just sidebar here, little ADD moment. I get really excited whenever people send us emails, like more than I feel like I should, at that info@dynamiceducationalsolutions.org. I feel like that's like I get up every day tickled whenever I see something in the inbox. So keep them coming. We love them. We're enjoying that part of the process here as a small company. So keep on sending them over. Drop those comments. Those are fun too.
Absolutely. Yeah, and those comments, we can get back to you relatively quickly.
Yeah.
But I can always change my daily affirmations that I send to you and send it to info@dynamiceducationalsolutions.org. That way you have something else to be excited about. I can do that for you.
I
As
appreciate
a good brother and business partner, I'll start doing that.
I appreciate that. Every day. Every day I want to wake up to a new affirmation from my CEO, telling me go into the info, and I'm just going to disperse that out to the company. So
I just want to let you know, probably for the first month, it's all going to be Snoop Dogg affirmations because I love his affirmation song. And anecdotally or not, didn't know if you knew this. Snoop Dogg is coming out with a new album specifically for, I think it's nursery rhymes or something like that. And I couldn't be more excited.
Such an interesting, as a small company, and we are constantly working on our branding, right, and our image. Like, and if you have been with us for any length of time, you have noticed some changes that we've been making, ourselves. But the Snoop Dogg, man, I remember growing up with Snoop Dogg, man. I mean, bourbon and what was it, gin and juice. I knew every bar to that song. I mean, I remember a whole nother Snoop Dogg. And then all of a sudden, like Snoop Dogg comes out, he's got a show with Martha Stewart. He's at the Olympics.
Who had that on their bingo card? I'm really curious.
No. Who told Snoop Dogg that it was okay to go off on SideQuest? Right? Like, that was getting every award. He's like going to try to collect them all. He's Pokemoning right now.
No, dude, that was one of my favorite things I've ever seen. Snoop Dogg is winning the side quests of life or something like that. You're not wrong. American ambassador to the Olympics, right?
Shoot ya.
He has, what is it, Snoop on a stoop now, like Elf on a Shelf. That needs to happen.
I did not know that. That is fantastic.
Yeah. He's got a gospel album, an affirmation song. He's about to have a nursery rhyme album. Why not?
Man, how great is that? And I love to see that he has his coaches, a youth football team still, even though his kids are off of it, right?
I have no idea, but I know he does that.
I don't know that part.
Yeah.
Drop that in a comment below because I do want to know that. That's a good social
Or Snoop, just text us and let us know. That way we can correct ourselves. You know what I mean?
Fanboy out if Snoop Dogg text me.
I'd melt.
I would fanboy out.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I'd melt. It'd be like my wife seeing Chris Hemsworth in person. Like, I would just fall to the floor.
You and your wife and I in the same boat, all right? Like, that guy's a dreamboat. Can we edit that out?
I'm not editing that out because you're not wrong. We speak the truth here.
Man. All right. What other news did we have for our Veterans Day? I know there was one more thing, Rob, that was kind of near and dear to your heart that you wanted to get off here, right? Not near and dear. Maybe that was the incorrect terms. Something that you found spicy?
Well, I got a lot to say about many things, but to stick to our 5 minutes of education, which we have promised everyone before I go on any kind of tirade. For all of my disabled veterans out there, or for individuals separating with service, and if you will have a service-connected disability, make sure you're taking advantage of Chapter 31, commonly referred to as VR&E. Chase fact-checked me, but they have opened up now 5 tracks inside of the VR&E program to help you finish your education, continue education, and receive gainful employment. And VR&E is a powerful tool. So make sure, I'm going to try and give this to you at a very high level. If you have questions, reach out to us, and I'm happy to meet with you and go in depth on this. But you can use your Chapter 33 GI Bill and then utilize Chapter 31. And if you're smart about it and you navigate that, essentially you're getting 48 months instead of 36 months on your GI Bill, with the last 12 months falling underneath Chapter 31, which is VR&E. And it gives you there's additional benefits that come along with Chapter 31. So I encourage all of you out there, if you are service connected, take a look at the VA's website, dig into Chapter 31. I think they're really trying to promote and boost Chapter 31 because it is such a robust program.
They are. Not to jump in here and speak over you, but I just want to say this. Like, on the VA's website, it's under the tab of Veteran Readiness and Employment.
There you go.
Is now the new title of it. It was formerly called Vocational Rehabilitation.
Thank you.
And Employment. Yeah. It is now VR&E still. Okay, but it's Veteran Readiness and Employment. There are 5 different tracks. There's a re-employment track, a rapid access to employment track. There's a self-employment track, which I love. I'm looking into as a small business owner myself, and the employment through long-term services track and independent living track. I know I said that there are 5 tracks or 6 right there, but trust me whenever I say that most of us are not going to are going to fall within 5. Okay. So if you fall within those 5 areas, right, then VRE can help you inside of those. Now, eligibility wise, you're going to need to do a little bit of research. Okay. That can be done there on the VA's website as well. Right, Rob?
Absolutely. And if you're curious about it and you don't know, because I'm sure, just like me, whenever I went and did my first go around with VR&E, I didn't know if I would qualify. There is no harm in submitting the application, meeting with a VR&E counselor, and going through that process where they can educate you and discuss your eligibility for that program. I know a lot of people and a lot of veterans that I've spoken with in my previous career and in our current occupation. They're afraid to submit the application because they don't know if they're eligible. Reframe your mindset a little bit, submit that application, and then let a VR&E counselor walk you through the process. That way you have a better understanding and you can make your decision based off of fact and not assumption.
Well, I mean, what's the
big thought?
Closed mouths don't get fed. Okay. And if you're in a position to where you're ready to move up, I love this because Rob has a really good elevator pitch on this. But you start talking about upskilling, doing your upskilling. It is very important that you do get your education, you micro credential, you take advantage of the opportunities that you have to upskill.
Yeah.
Education, as we know it, is changing, right? I mean, we talked about it in our last episode. We talked about AI coming in, right? We talked about quantitative. I've been reading even more into that because there are going to be even more opportunities coming up here in the near future for our kids, for the next generation, or for those who are just now looking to rebrand themselves. If something in the AI space sounds interesting to you, which it should, that is where we're headed. So, start be looking at those, and VR&E can keep up with those, and maybe they can help you with that through those counseling sessions.
Yeah, they can. They can. I mean, I always encourage self-improvement.
Always. Well, if you are here, either you're a military member or a spouse or some affiliation, and we always improve our positions, right? Yep. So, we fortify and we improve.
And so it's like I said last episode. It's the penguin that doesn't conform that gets left out in the cold.
That's true.
Get in line with everybody else and start moving towards a sustainable career and a sustainable future for yourself. We have to get out of the mindset, and I've heard this a ton. I'm not gonna get into the AI because I don't see how it translates to my career field. You are going to be behind the curve. There's a ton of resources out there available to you. You need to look into those.
I hate to let you know, but if you can do it, AI can do it. So how is it going to impact you in your future? Okay. And there are laws and stuff that are being set up. That's another thing in the news I would love to talk about, but I'm not going to, here on this podcast. But if you have any interest, hit me up. We can have a discussion around how AI is going to impact education. So that might be a whole nother podcast that we need to set up.
I would love to talk about that. And where a great place to have that conversation is right now today?
Where's that?
DES Discord channel. It's super easy to get involved. All you have to do is go to dynamiceducationalsolutions.org and fill out the application, submit it, come join us over there. We can have that conversation. But you brought up an interesting topic that I want to sink into, and I'm going to write it. How will AI change education?
How is it going to change the education landscape? Right.
We should talk about that.
How are we digesting and getting our information? How does traditional schooling evolve? Right. Schooling has evolved since I was in school in the 90s, right? It's completely different, right? The curriculum's different. How it's being implemented is different because I'm telling you right now, I came from the generation that we still wrapped our textbooks and freaking, we went to the grocery store and got brown paper bags for our groceries. I remember my mom every year, a month leading up to going back to school, our mom would go to the grocery store and request paper bags. And I'll never forget that. Wrapping. I remember one year One year, I got mom actually allowed us to get the designer,
Yeah.
uh, for our books, the Easy Peel. It was 1 year, and I remember her saying, "I'm never doing that again."
Yeah. Yeah. Brown paper bags wrapped around the cover to the textbooks. It's how you
Yep,
protect them, man. They
yep.
don't
And
do that
then
anymore.
she
Now they're
taught
issuing
us.
the kids the Chromebooks, so you don't need textbooks any longer.
Well, Chromebooks yeah, is technology, right? So it's iPads, Chromebooks. What was it? My wife and I lived in McKinney. She taught McKinney. They were an Apple district, so all the kids had
That's wild.
Apple in high school. No more textbooks. They were all online. So they are textbooks, but they're online textbooks, and that's the same thing for my kiddos now. The same thing. I got a kiddo in middle school. Another kiddo's about to be in middle school. About to have two, one in high school, one in middle school, and used to work in a middle school. And I can tell you that textbooks are gone. They have now. I will tell you that in science and stuff, from what I saw, at least up here in the Kansas City area, they still have in class textbooks.
Mm-hmm.
So like you can use them in class, but they're out like they're a little out of date.
You're going to take me down just a rabbit. Let's talk about this whenever we have an hour to talk about it, because I have thoughts and opinions on learning styles and how we're trying to fit a square peg into a round hole with integrating technology into education.
I'm trying to think of in our connections, Rob, in all of our connections, do we have anybody that can come and speak on how AI is going to impact education? I wonder if we can reach out to that. Speaking of which, seeing how we're recording and we're obviously having a open conversation in front of you guys. If you work in this space, you work in the AI space and you work in the education space, right? And you have something to add to that conversation. You would like to be one of our subject matter experts and come and educate the world. This could be your platform. Let us start your illustrious career in speaking about AI and education. And send us either leave us a comment, say me in the comments below, and we'll get in touch with you, or send us a email at info@dynamiceducationalsolutions.com. And since we are on the topic of future conversations, you know who we got coming up next week? Woo!
I sure do, and I'm excited about it. And that was a world class lead in. I feel like that needs to be annotated right now. I appreciate that. Next week we have a really exciting guest, and our first official guest joining the desk.
January 16th.
Our desk talks. That's Navy Bob, or Robert Ronska. And we're going to be talking about his book. I have it right here, Beyond the Sea, Leading with Love from the Nuclear Navy to the White House and Healthcare. I was going to read a snippet to you, very similar to, what's that old show, Rainbow what? Reading Rainbow. I was going to do this Reading Rainbow style, but then I realized I'm not as cool as the gentleman who did that. But let me read you the tagline. This is a book everyone should read, a true behind-the-scenes story about leadership, humility, and duty in the Navy and in life. That's from Daniel Silva, a New York Times best-selling author. When I tell you, there is something in this book for everyone. I promise you. I promise you there is. I earmarked, if you're just looking, you're not a big reader. You're not an avid reader. I'm not. I'm not like my wife. I don't read 50 to 100 books a year. I just don't. Start at chapter 16. Building leaders. Start here. And it starts with a quote from Colin Powell. Effective leaders are made, not born. They learn from trial and error and from experience. I don't think there are truer words, but we're going to be talking.
One of my favorite sayings there, Rob. I'm going to poke in here real quick.
Yeah.
What's another word for experience? There's another way to say that.
Tell me.
Failures, man. We learn more from our failures than anything else, right? So learning from our experience, learning from our failures, learning from our triumphs, but we learn more from our failures. So good leaders are people that get out and try.
Yes.
They get out and do. They're doers.
Yep. Well, and that's what we're going to be talking about next week with Navy Bob, is having that conversation of what does leadership look like at many different levels? What did his transition from service look like? What nuggets of information does he have for us? And like I said 2 weeks ago, I think, I think it was 2 weeks ago on our last podcast. It is like being back in the lecture hall in the best way possible whenever he speaks. Like there's so much to glean from listening to Navy Bob talk about his life experiences, about his leadership experiences across various industries. I mean, he was in the Navy. He was a captain, if I'm not mistaken, in the Navy, and then led the highest performing submarine. Excuse my terminology. I'm an Army cat. I'm going to do my best with the largest submarine corps or what have you in the Navy, the most successful there. Then transitioned over into the White House and into healthcare inside the Bush administration, and now doing his own thing. There's a lot here, and I think we're going to do a 2-part series, an hour-long conversation with Navy Bob. So make sure you check in with us, and if you have any questions that you want asked, we're happy to ask the question, but we need to know what your question is. Drop it in the comments. Send us a private message if you don't want your question known to everyone. It's super, super easy to do it. If you're on Facebook or Instagram, you probably already know how to work that. You can click on our name, private message. If you're on YouTube, it is extremely simple. If you're on this episode right now, look just below it, click on Dynamic Educational Solutions, and then there'll be an option in the top right to send us a private message. Let us know what your question is. If it is appropriate. Let me say it one more time. Appropriate. Then we'll ask the question. Okay? If you're going to ask him how much money he made, we're not going to ask that question.
We're not going to ask that.
But if you want to know what leadership looks like and where he learned leadership, and we're happy to ask that question. But I can't. I'm over the moon excited for next week. And then we have a very good lineup of guests coming for the remainder of the month, kicking us off right into the new year, man. Desk Talks I think we're crushing it with our guest list. So if you want to be on, like Chase said earlier, send us a note. We're happy to have you on with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. And wonderful to have you on. Before we move on, I think you can get this on Amazon, can't you?
You can get that on Amazon.
You can get it on Amazon, or more importantly, you can go to leadingwithlove.com, is Navy Bob's website. First off, I don't know who his social media team is or who his website design team is, but that website is on point. It is beautiful. It is easy to navigate. You can learn more about Navy Bob. You can order his book from there. I promise you, it is well worth your time and well worth the read.
I agree. I'm super excited about having Navy Bob on too. I don't agree with being in your favorite lecture hall. Being with him.
I enjoyed college.
Right. Well, I did too, but I enjoy, I liken more of our conversation that we've had with Navy Bob, our interactions, has led me more to like a really good NCOPD, right? Like a really good, like you're sitting down and that's whenever like people are nod. Like I saw a bunch of people nod like you're in church almost. Like he's very captivating. He's got a lot to put out. He's got a great cadence. Come back, check it out. Highly intelligent. He just brims. He is brimming. Brimming?
Yeah, sure. Finish your thought.
Yeah, go with it. We're going with it. He's got all this, incredible expertise and knowledge that he needs to pass. He needs to pass it. It's an incredible life story and opportunities that he's been given, and for him to not share that good knowledge and opportunities that he's had with us would be a shame. So make sure you come back, check in with us next week, Thursday, the 16th at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time is when that episode will release. With that being said, we are so excited to have you guys here with us in the new year. Make sure that you are like, share, subscribe on all of our socials, and make sure that you don't miss anything else that's coming up. If you have any questions for us, make sure that you email us at info@dynamiceducationalsolutions.com. We look forward to seeing you guys next week. Until then, stay minimally professional. Skadoodles.
Skadoodles.